So the main thing that we learned so far is unless you can inject JavaScript within the element that you have access to, close that element, complete it, and then inject after it. With that, let's move on to the next example. In this example, we have a store website, and it's actually similar to a website that we covered before. As usual, you want to use it, test it, whatever, use every single functionality and test it. Now, we're going to go to the one that I already know is vulnerable to not waste your time, and it's this one, the store checker. So again, you want to use it as normal. For example, let's set the store to Paris, check stock, and it'll tell you how many units are available of this product in that store. So as you can see, everything looks fine and we don't even have anything to inject as a variable in here. Therefore, in this case, you're going to need to proxy this through burp to see what happens. Because as you know, if we can see it in here, we can play with it. But if we don't see it, then we're going to have to send it through a proxy and modify the values through a proxy. So I'm going to turn my interceptor on and let's go to Milan this time. And when we do that, you can see we actually have two values being sent. We have the product ID and the store ID. As usual, everything that the user can manipulate, we test it for all vulnerabilities, not just for XSS. So you should test it for SQL injections and so on. Now, again, to save you time, I'm not going to be testing product ID. I'm going to be testing store ID because I know store ID is vulnerable to an XSS. But in a real life scenario, you want to test both of them. So I'm going to copy the product ID parameter, turn off the interceptor first, and paste it in my URL bar. And I'm going to modify its value to Milan AAA to see if the website will actually display this modified value on the page. If it does, then we know the manipulated user input is being used within the page, and therefore we're going to try to inject HTML code to get a HTML injection or JavaScript code to get an XSS. So as you can see, I always make small, simple modifications and build up my payload or exploit step by step. This way, if I fail at any stage, I know exactly where I failed and I know what to focus on to achieve my goal. Okay, that's gonna load. Now, if you scroll down, you'll see whatever we typed in the product ID or the store ID. I typed Milan AAA, we can see it in here. So that means, again, whatever you're typing as a user is being reflected in the page. Therefore, there's a good chance that you might be able to inject and run JavaScript code within this page by manipulating whatever you type after the store ID. So let's inspect this element again and just see where is our code or where is our text is being injected and see how we can break out of this and inject our JavaScript code. We can see that Milan is being placed as an element or as an option in here within this input box. Because this time the value that the text that we're typing is being injected in here as is, not inside the element definition, there is nothing to escape. It's already being injected in here. So if I go back to my URL bar and I just keep whatever it is, Milana, and I add my script alert, whatever 22 script, we're going to hit enter and perfect. As you can see, it's going to get executed straight away. Now, as you can see, discovering this one is very, very similar to what we've been doing in the previous example. This might be actually one of the simplest and easiest examples, but understanding how this works is the tricky part, because sometimes you might think, well, if you're typing, just the Milana, and it's being displayed in here, then there's no way to inject code in here. But that's the whole point. Like, even though it's being displayed within the options, you're able to inject JavaScript in there as long as it's not part of the element definition. And if it is part of the element definition, you should close the element, whatever it is, complete whatever it is, and then inject your code as we've seen in the previous example.